Man, we can talk about this all day. Whew, man, that's a good one because, celebrities, us. The real culture of hip hop is simple. It's everything. It embodies dance, which is break dancing, and it embodies, art, which is graffiti. The language, the way we talk, which we call slang. The DJ, the MC. The way we dress, this we call that the swag, whatever.
Hi, it's Robin Sharma, and you're tuning into the Millionaire Student Show with Sashin.
Sashin.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode on the Millionaire Student Show, where I get the opportunity to pick the minds of this generation's thought leaders, change makers, disruptors, innovators, and inspirations. Dissect their story from the pain they went through, the price they paid, and what their prize looks like today. I formulated the Millionaire Student Self-Development System and Company because this is what I was searching for when I first entered the entrepreneurial world at 17 years old. My mission and purpose is to serve you with virtual mentorship to consciously make your clock tick without taking the thunder away from today's guest. From the midst of adversity, born and raised in Queens, New York, to his earliest memory of watching his dad walk out of his life when he was 5 years old, to him selling drugs at 12 years old. He then entered the music industry in 1994 and became one of the rap industry's most commercially successful artists during the early 2000s. He worked with Tupac, Jay-Z, Nas, Mariah Carey, Jennifer Lopez, Fat Joe, Lil Wayne, J Blige, Ashanti, to only name a few. He has had multiple hits that made the top 20 of the U.S Billboard Hot 100 chart and sold 11.4 million units in the US and has sold over 30 million records worldwide. Some of them you'll definitely remember. I'm Real featuring Jennifer Lopez, What's Love featuring Fat Joe and Ashanti, Always on Time featuring Ashanti, Mesmerize with Ashanti, and many more. With all that success, he was nominated for multiple awards, including 4 Grammy Awards. In 2002, he won Best Male Hip Hop Artist and Musician of the Year. The Millionaire Students, please help me in welcoming today's guest, Ja Rule. Ja, thank you for being on the Millionaire Student Show today. I truly appreciate you being here, man.
Yo, thanks for having me on the show, man, for sure. The Millionaire Student Show, baby. I like the title. I love the title.
Thank you. So on the Millionaire Student Show, throughout our entire conversation, the mission and purpose is to dissect 3 Ps. The pain you went through in life, the price you paid, and the prize you've manifested into reality. What is the story of Ja Rule before you got into the music industry in 1994? And ironically, that was the year that I was actually born.
Pain is love, man. That's the whole gist of what you just said is basically the I don't know if it's called a slogan or what, but it's basically the soundtrack of my life. Pain is love is what you're talking about. It's the sacrifice people go through, the pain, so that the ones that come behind them can receive the love. That's what pain is love is about. People think it's about, love and pain, and you got to go through, all the pain to be, with your loved one and this, that, and third or whatever, but it's not about that. Pain is love is very simple. It's about sacrifice. And my whole life, I've sacrificed, a lot to make sure that my loved ones, my family are secure and safe and taken care of. And that's been my whole childhood. I grew up very fast. As a young man in Hollis, Queens, got into fast living and street stuff very early at an early age, 12, 13 years old. And, things, learned a lot very fast, grew up very fast because life, can definitely do that to you. It can definitely make you a man quickly, you know, and that's what it was for me, you know. And then I fell in love with music, hip hop, and that became my sanctuary. That became my everything, my savior, my, you know, it's my livelihood.
When you were 4 years old, your earliest memory was your dad being abusive and addicted to drugs. And when you were 5, he left. How did that influence your life?
The way those things influence young kids is it can go two ways. You know, you can become that person. You know, I don't think he was around me long enough for me to really learn his behavior. You know, but as you get older, you know, you learn about the behavior and you remember, though you have those, you know, vague memories, you know, of what it was. And I think, you know, the main gift that my dad gave me was to be not what he was, you know, and to be a great father to my kids. I think that's the greatest gift he gave me, you know. As I got older, I, you know, started to, you know, try to get a relationship with my dad. And as we started to make that bond and started to, you know, I started to really learn a lot about him as a man, you know, why he did some of the things he did. You know, I started to learn more about his father and his past and how he was treated as a child and stuff like that. You know, when you learn those things, then you start, then it kind of starts to connect the dots and why, you know, things may have been the way they were, you know, why, you know, maybe he had the drug issue. And that's a whole nother thing, animal, you know, when a family member or a friend or a family or a parent or anything has a drug addiction, it's it's like a disease, you know. It's very hard for them to shake it. You know, it changes them in a lot of ways. So I think, you know, those things all, you know, kind of worked into what my father was and who he was, the makeup of who he was, you know. And yeah, as a young man, that was my lesson from him, was to be nothing like him, be better than him. And I think I hope I accomplished, you know, that. But like I said, as we started to get closer in relationship in later years, he passed on, and so we didn't really get a chance to really get that bond that, you know, that I wanted. But I did get closure. So
It's so ironic that the more pain you go through, the more you find your passion in life. And the more the mess in life, the bigger the message in life, in your life. And, you know, successful people, entrepreneurs, the common denominator, they've had a rough past. They've had a rough foundation that built them up to where they are today. And, you know, when you were 12 years old, you were selling drugs. What led you down that path of hustling before you even entered high school? Because most people from the outside, they'll judge, but everyone's got their own story. Everyone's got their own time. That's the reason why you did what you have to do. Looking back right now.
You know, it's sad to say, but it's like that's was normal in my neighborhood where I live. All kids sold drugs. You know, it was like everybody's doing it. And we making money, we buying sneakers. we getting clothes, we getting chains and shit, you know, we getting gold fronts. I want some of that stuff. I want to take some of the burden off of my mother, you know, from her having to work 2 jobs and you know, having to try to buy me all of the new latest this and that, you know. So it became, you know, selling drugs became more like a fad than you know, than what people see it to be. You know, people see it to be this heinous crime and it's destroying your community. And, you know, how could you sell drugs? Well, we didn't bring the drugs there. We didn't put them there. You know what I mean? You talking about kids, 13-year-old kids, you know, selling drugs on the corner. So it was the fast lifestyle, the money, you know, when you're young and impressionable, the first, you know, those are the first things of success you see are the drug dealers on the corner, You know, those dudes, they got the girls, they got the cars, they got the money. So you're like, man, shit, what's he do? And they're like, well, you know, he kind of does a little this, a little that, and you know, and you find out what a little this and a little that is, and you realize, well, I could do that very easily. You know, that's much easier than me going to try to apply for a job, or you know, and the money was better. So you know that became a lifestyle in the ghettos of America, across the country in America. I don't know, how was it over in South Africa with the drug?
I mean, it's huge. It's huge. You know, in the hood, and you know, every country has a hood. Most people don't see it. Every country's got a hood. Do you remember that day that you decided, I'm done? It's now time for change. I want to go down the path of light and not down the path of darkness again.
Well, I mean, when I had my daughter, I realized that, you know, things have to be different. You know, if I want to.
And you were 18, if I'm not mistaken. When you had your kid?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, when I had my daughter, I was 18. But,
I definitely did my research.
Yeah, I was a little older than that. I was about maybe 19. 20 in that area. Yeah. But I realized something, you know, that I want to be there for my daughter. I don't want to be my father, you know, and I want to be there for my child. And I had, you know, options. Drugs wasn't my only option, you know. My B plan, if you know, music was my passion. My B plan was, if I ever make it in the music business, we're gonna go to the army. So I was gonna be, you know, go to the military. You know, I just didn't want to do the you know, the illegal shit. I had just gotten locked up when I was about 16, 17. I caught a case, gun and drug case, and I got a what they call a youthful offender status, because I was still young. I was still a minor, and so they gave me youthful offender status, and they gave me 5 years probation on this case. And so that was another wake-up call. You know, I'm on this probation. If I get caught up again, I'm probably going to do, you know, 1 to 3, 2 to 4 in that area. You know, easy with no issues. And so I'm like, shit, you know, I got to do something different. You know, my daughter's here. You know, when my daughter came, I just felt like this is time for me to really, really dig in deep and do this music thing that I love so much. And I was, you know, I was pretty good at it. You know, so.
So 1994, you get involved in the music industry. What was your first introduction to that industry?
My first introduction to the music industry, man, was my brother, you know, Herb Gotti and Mike Geronimo, what he was doing with Mike. That's how I got in, you know, with my guys, me, Black and O, and we had a group called Cash Money Click. So that's how we got in. And it was a different time in '94. You know what I'm saying? It was real different. I don't know. It was a great time for hip hop and music and artistry and the vibe of what it was. It wasn't new. You know, hip hop wasn't new, but it still felt new. You know, it was still being doubted by the masses in a lot of ways, even though we had came, you know, very far. Def Jam was still like an institution. You know, every artist hung out at 160 Varick up at Def Jam offices, even if you didn't go there. It was just a different time, you know. So but previous to that, I was, like you said, in '94, I was with my group, Cash Money Click, and we, you know, that was my introduction to hip hop. We had a little single, "Get the Fortune," for my clique, and that got us to the next phase of where we were going in our careers.
So what is the real culture behind hip hop?
Hip hop, so you gotta understand, the real culture of hip hop is simple. It's everything. You know, it embodies dance, which is break dancing, and it embodies, you know, art, which is graffiti. You know, the language, the way we talk, which we call slang. You know, the DJ, the MC, you know, the way we dress, you know, this we call that the swag, you know, whatever. Our culture is very different. You know, we as a people were very good at taking, you know, lemons and making lemonade. Very good at that. We've done it since the beginning of time, you know, and I think hip hop is no different. You know, it started in the Bronx, small, you know, see what gets said up in the Bronx right there. And it's like when I think of it, it's like so amazing to think that we started our own genre of music, our own culture of dance and art and everything. And now it's the number one genre in all of music. The one that they said wouldn't last, it wouldn't be here, it's a fad, it's this, it's that, it's destroying the youth. You know, I love hip hop.
In every industry, there's always people who make it and there's people who are haters of the game. How did you personally deal with the feud and competition in the hip hop world?
I mean, it is what it is. You know, it's a doggy dog world. You know, you get into this business and it's like gladiator sport at some point, which I hate, by the way. Even though I've been a big part of it, you know, and I have no regrets of it. It is what it is. That's hip hop. But when I look at the landscape of hip hop now and what's going on, and you see so many of these young artists getting killed, you see so many of these young artists, you know, overdosing on drugs. This has never happened in my era of hip hop. You know, you had Big and Pac, but you know that was like it. You know, it was like isolated. You know, Jam Master Jay, God rest the dead. You know, but these were like isolated incidents. It wasn't like every other week another dude's getting shot, another artist is there. You know, we hashtag and every other. It's like it's really, and it's, you know, these kids are getting clipped before they even really get started. We didn't create the culture for that. The culture wasn't created for that. This culture has saved a lot of lives. You know, I know the media and the people, you know, the people who want to destroy hip hop and tear it down, they'll say otherwise. You know, they'll say we're destroying the youth, we're bad for, you know, the kid, we're bad for community, we're bad. They'll say these things. But I say otherwise. I know I personally understand and know how many families have been, you know, helped out, affected by this great industry. You know, so of course every industry, you know, has its issues, but hip hop, you know, I have to say for the most part, man, it's been an amazing thing for a lot of minorities, Black men, women, you know, Hispanic, you know, just around the gamut of minorities. It's been an amazing thing for us to be able to take something, you know, and make it into something, you know, so nothing to make it into something so big, you know, and be able to make livings and support our families. It's amazing. So when we get back to that question of feuds in hip hop, yeah, it is a part of hip hop, but I think we need to start sending a new message. And it doesn't need to be a part of hip hop. Like, you know, if, you know, the battles I love, like the URL battles, like that, that's dope. That's, you know, that's skill set, skill versus skill, and we're going to, but, you know, the real beefs and the shootings and that needs to stop. That definitely needs to stop.
So, Ja, you worked with legends in the industry. I mean, you worked with Tupac, Jay-Z, Nas, Mariah Carey, J-Lo, Fat Joe, Lil Wayne, Ashanti, and many more. What was the music industry like in the year 2000 versus today?
It's different but the same, if that makes any sense. You know, as I sit here and I say all of these things about, you know, putting down the guns and stopping the violence, I was the same dude screaming this murder, you know? So I understand what it's like to be in that position, you know, a young, hungry lion coming up in the game and you know, it's everybody get the out of my way. I understand it. I get it. And I love that mentality. I love that. I love that lion mentality, that killer spirit. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love it. You know, but you know, it's you know, it's just different.
I mean, in 2001, you and J-Lo dropped a song, I'm Real. I remember, you know, jumping in the car and going to school. I was in grade 1 and that's a song playing in the background. And what is that inspiration behind it? Because that truly set the tone for your entire career.
Yeah, that was my biggest record, I think, today. I'm not sure, but you know, what that record came about because they wanted a similar, not a, they wanted a feel, the type of feel records that I was doing at that moment in time. You know, Always on Time, Ashanti, and you know, me and Mariah had just did something. You know, those style of records were like new and fresh, and it was like duet style records. So Tommy had, you know, reached out to us and said he wanted, you know, a dope record like that for Jennifer. And there was a record on her album called I'm Real. So when I got the record, he said he wanted us to remix it. So when I got the record, I was like, all right, yeah, no problem. Tommy's in the record. Me and Gotti get the record. And it was like a Spanish dance record. It was like completely different from what you hear, I'm Real, you know. And so I immediately said, now, Tommy, I said, I don't know what, I can't do nothing with that. You know, that's what that is. You know, it's a dance record. You know, I said, I can't remix the dance record. I said, but I can make you a new record. That's basically what the we did. And we made a new record and yo, it was just magical, man. It came out to be such a big record. We recorded it. I did the record in like an hour, something really crazy like that. I write really fast. I did the record really quick, and then I remember like by the next day, we were like on a jet going to shoot the video for the record with. I mean, like it was the fastest turnaround in a record I've ever seen in history. Like we recorded it, and in 3 days' time, that shit was on the radio, Getting Spin video out. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was great.
Hey, I want you to take a quick split second of your time. All I want you to do is hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications. I want to update you when I have a next iconic guest on my show. Stay in student mode.
Yo, what it is, it's the RULE, and you tuned in to the Millionaire Student Show with my dude, Sashin.
What was it like working with Tupac?
Well, you know, I never actually got to work with Pac. The record I did, So Much Pain, was a remake that I did of the record for Pac. And now you asked the question, to work with him, I've never worked with him.
But being in the environment, being in that decade, getting to...
And Pac is a very polarizing figure, you know, which is crazy because I've become a polarizing figure myself. In the last years, and people, you know, when people don't understand what polarizing is. Polarizing is, you know, either you love them extremely or you hate them. You know, it's like a crazy, weird thing, you know, with people. Now, of course, Pac is dead. Everybody loves Pac. When Pac was alive, he had that love-hate thing with him. You know, it's just crazy. You know, when I met him, great energy, a lot of energy. We got a lot of friends in common, let's say. You know, he used to hang out with Stretch and Madge and these dudes from Queens that, you know, from my hood. So that's how I met him originally. You know, rest in peace to Stretch. Stretch is also passed. Yeah, and then my brother Nichols, he was hanging with Nichols too. So that was like the crew he kind of, you know, rolled with. when he was out in New York and out in Queens, and so that's how we met. But great energy, great dude, man. Wish he was still here to send some knowledge and jewels to these young kids, because he was prolific in his words, and very inspirational and passionate about supporting the Black community, and so he would have been great, especially right now with everything going on, Black Lives Matter. I think he would have been amazing right now to be alive during this moment.
So you and Jay-Z go back to the foundation of his career. Today, he's the first individual to be evaluated at $1 billion in the music industry. How did you guys first meet? And, is Jay-Z the same Jay-Z today versus when you first met?
Of course not. First of all, this big shout out to Hov. Happy birthday to Hov. It's his birthday today. So happy birthday, Hov. Word. No, of course he's not the same person. Jay will tell you himself. Like, why would I, what was his famous line? Why would I be just so successful to be the same, or whatever. You change, you grow. And growth is important, as men, as human beings. You can't be the same guy you was at 20, and you're not going to be the same man you are at 30, at 40. You change, you evolve. And hopefully it's in a upward trend versus a downward trend, but people evolve,
Back in the days, it was pure talent behind that mic. Today with autotune, anyone can replicate anyone despite their level of talent. How important is it for someone to stay authentic and real to stand out?
Whew, man, that's a good one, because, it's different now with social media. People are clout chasing, and, people don't even care how they get famous anymore. It's not even real fame. Like you said, it's like I said, it's clout chasing. It's, I do anything, to be famous. It's the game is so different now. It's hard to kind of pinpoint that, because it's just it's different. These kids are different. The way the industry moves is different. Celebrity is different. It used to be amazing to be a big star celebrity. Now it's a lot of work. It's a lot of pressure on these kids. So this is different.
Especially with social media. Back in the days, you guys didn't have TikTok. You guys didn't have Instagram.
We didn't have none of that. Some shit pop off and something happens. It was amongst a small circle of people. If it got out, maybe it didn't, maybe it did, but it wasn't the full-on media blast that every little thing gets attention for. If you sneeze nowadays, you're a top artist there. Oh, so they got the corona. It's different, man. Very good.
Joe, what advice do you have for people who look up to people in the music industry or even the entertainment industry and feel it's too far-fetched? They can't have that lifestyle. They can't look like them. How they perceived online versus behind closed doors. And then they feel like, okay, the mental health starts to kick in because I can't be as good as them.
Celebrities. Us. That's what I would tell, everybody, that's watching what, we're out here doing and living. We're living our lives. We're just, it's just being broadcasted 24/7. So, of course, there's some that make it look more glamorous than others, and they put it in your face a little bit more, or whatever the case may be. But you should never have to feel like you have to live up to someone else's status or someone else's, whatever they are. I just don't believe in it. I believe that everybody is their own star, celebrity in their own right, in their own space, in their own time, and you just have to capitalize and build on it and figure out what it is that's special about you. And I believe that everybody has something special in them, and they should really hone in on that special talent or skill or thing that they have versus, wishing they had someone else's skill or talent or whatever, or money, or whatever. Happiness too it's not about money. It's about just that. It's about being happy in your circumstance. Now, does money help happiness? Hell yeah. Hell fucking yeah. I'm not gonna lie, sit there and say it doesn't. You understand? But I was also happy when I was broke. So I think about those things. Like, and am I happier now versus then? I don't know. I was fucking happy then. I'm happy now. So for me, it's about your happiness, and I think that starts with good people around you, your surroundings, family. And going back to your question, believing in yourself and knowing your own truth. Those things matter.
What type of energy, focus, and commitment was required from you when you were at your peak? And what was your mindset when you had the most momentum during your biggest run?
During my biggest run, I really never stopped to gather the roses. I was just going so fast. And, Leo said something to me, Leo Cohen, he's president CEO of Def Jam at the time. He asked me, he said, Jai, he said, you had so much success in these, last couple of years. Have you got a chance to take it all in and kind of soak it up and like understand what you're doing? And, for me, it was like, what are you talking about, Leo? I don't know. I'm a kid. I'm still young. I'm just like, yes, and I got another album to make. It was. And then, as I got to really sit back and look at everything and look at the body of work and look at what I accomplished, it was like, wow, all right, that's kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like I did some really dope things in this music industry. Accomplished some amazing things, sold a shitload of records. Won a lot of awards, and a lot of those things, I'm not gonna lie, I took for granted when it was happening. Number one albums, like everything now is they're so conscious of this shit, all the artists. They're like, I gotta go number one. I didn't think of none of that shit. I made the records, we put out the albums, we went number one. I remember Kevin Liles calling me. He woke me up early in the morning. I think it was Rule 336. It just went number one on the Billboard 200. I didn't even know, we at the time, we weren't looking to chart that. You feel me? We were looking at the R&B charts, the hip-hop charts. We wasn't like Billboard 200. That was like out of our league. Like, what are you talking about? I'm number one on the Billboard 200. That's how I see it now. You understand? So now I'm like, wow, what a huge feat. Then I was like, yo, Kev, he's like, yo, we're number one. And I'm on the other line like, Kev, we only did 300,000. We were supposed to do 400,000 or 500,000 first week. What the fuck is going on? He's like, John, we're number one. I'm like, man, that shit. It was a different time where artists, I think, were more pure, where we were focused on making the dopest shit, being the dopest artist, having the dopest lyrics. Those things counted as stripes on your, resume. If you had the best verse on a song, those things mattered. It mattered. I don't know if that matters as much today as how much money motherfuckers. I think everybody's more enamored with such and such is worth this, such and such has this much money, such as, versus, he's nice. This dude gives, like, we didn't, those were the things, we didn't care about who had the most money and shit like that at when we were coming up. It didn't matter. We were just, who's the best MC, who's the dopest, who's the nicest, who's making the dopest music, and that was our thing. And so, man, we can talk about this all day. Man.
I know you're huge into traditional education because of Black people not getting equality during your generation. How big are you into self-development and personal development? Books, audios, podcasts, seminars?
I love your setup back there, by the way. Absolutely, man. Yeah, I love reading. I picked up reading in prison, actually. When I went to jail, man, I read so many books. All of my kids was, college educated. My daughter graduated from HBCU. She graduated from Hampton. My oldest son is at Full Sail right now, and my youngest son is about to go to SCAD. So, I'm big on it, man. I think it's very important. The biggest thing is, and hey, let's not leave out dear old dad. I just got my Harvard business certificate just recently too as well. So
congratulations, man.
Yeah, I did my online courses for Harvard. It was Harvard Business Online. It was dope. It was cool. But what was I about to say? What was I?
Prison, self-development, reading.
Oh yeah. So and like I was saying, in prison, I really, picked up on reading, and started reading a lot of books, man, and just self-educating myself. Read a lot of self-help books. I started out reading like bullshit novels and stuff, the Donald Goines books and all that shit, and then I really just dove into the self-help books. Like, how can I, better educate myself? How can I come out of this situation 120 times better? So working out and working out my mind, working out my body, that was my focus while I was there. And I did that,
Joy, if there's one thing you could have done differently throughout your entire journey in your career, what would that be?
Yeah, because sometimes God takes you all the way around the block just to bring you next door. And for me, that that's what it was for me. I needed to go through everything that I went through to become who I am, for the character of man that I've become today. A lot of those things that I went through built who I am and what I am, and I like who I am. I like what I'm becoming. So yeah. I think if I take out any of those ingredients, then the cake is not as well made. Even with the mistakes and the failures and everything, all of it makes up, a person and who they are and how they go forward and get past adversity. And you have to go through all of that shit. So I'm glad I was able to endure everything and still be standing like, hey, what's that?
So let's talk about money. You've seen the advantage of residual income in the music industry regarding royalties that still pay you today versus linear income when, it's only taught in school. How powerful is it for someone listening in right now? Maybe they can't be a musician, but they can run a business and find a passive stream of income versus chasing linear income.
Yeah, no, you have to have, first of all, you should have several revenue streams, but, linear income, it's just what it is, it's like fast money. It's here, it comes and goes, it pays the bills. But what you want to create, like you said, when you want to create wealth is, income money that makes, when you make your money, make money for you.
Yeah.
Is what you want to do by investing and if you're in the music industry, owning your work, owning your masters and stuff. That's very important. Artists don't understand that. Well, artists do understand it now. It's just the record label been robbing us a long time. But and if you're just doing business, get into stocks, get into bonds, get into real estate. Real estate is really big for me. I love real estate. It's the only thing that they're not making any more of. They're not making no more land to get you some. But these are the things that people need to definitely understand.
What's the craziest thing you've personally done with money?
Oh man, stupid purchases. I'm gonna bought all kinds of shit. I don't know.
What's the craziest thing you've seen someone else do?
I've seen people do a lot of crazy shit with money, and it's for me, it's been at the gambling spots and the crap tables, the casinos. Spending that kind of money at the casinos and gambling and shit was always a lot of fun, but crazy. We did a lot of that. I don't know, man. I think everybody that gets rich or gets their first big lump sum of money I think everybody wants to see what it feels like to like spend $1 million.
You got to make that mistakes.
Yeah, you know, so I think that was like one of my biggest things. I wanted to like just spend $1 million in a day, just, you know what I'm saying, just because, you know what I mean. So buying this, buying that, you know, it was like Brewster's Millions. Can I spend this $1 million in a day? You know what I'm saying? It was. So I remember we did that. I spent like maybe like over $500,000 in a store. So yeah, you know, stupid shit like that. Probably was the craziest shit I ever did.
In wrapping up, is there new music coming out for Ja Rule, or do you have your eyes on another prize?
Yeah, I want to make some more music. I have a new album coming. I've been working on it. I was gonna put it out this year, but then COVID happened, and I was like, I don't want to really put the album out, not tour with this dope ass album. So, you know, I want to drop it in the new year as COVID starts to, you know, die down and we can get back out on the road, and that'll be great. I started my tech company, Icon.
Talk to me about that as well, because you know, we're streaming live on Icon as well right now. What's your vision for that?
Icon is dope, man. I mean, you know, it's a way for talent, creatives, content creators to monetize their content. You know, not a lot of platforms let you do it. And the ones that do, they're not very user friendly, you know. So I wanted to create something that is sexy, sleek, you know, fun to use. You know, you want to be on it, you know, with your friends and chat, you know, but it also gives you that monetary, you know, part of it that monetary component that you need that other platforms don't give you. So you can, you know, if you go on Icon, you can charge for your lives. You can get tips within your live, you know, within your live feed. You be booked for private lives. You get subscriptions. People can subscribe to your page. So there's a lot of things you can do on Icon. And I have a pay-per-view type of situation thing that you can also do on Icon. This is a lot of different things. And I got merch stores, you know,
Nice.
coming. So you make your page, everybody will have a store. So you know, it'd be like them. It's like you going live and you got your own CV. What's it called? QVC. You know what I'm saying? If you wanted to, you could be selling items right there while you're live on the shit, like selling your book or whatever, and they can buy it, click to buy it right there. So it's really a cool platform. You know, I didn't recreate the wheel. I'm creating it for the culture. So it's different. You know, I know what we like and what we want. So
Joe, what does self-talk and your internal dialogue with yourself sound like?
Oh my God, you don't want to hear that. You don't want to know that. You know why? Because people would absolutely think I'm batshit crazy if they can hear what me and the other self talk about. Yeah, we have good conversations.
Love it. One more question, and this question is with all due respect. You know, two legends, two icons, two individuals who inspire the industry despite how relevant their new music is today. Those two people are you and 50 Cent. Will the day come where bygones be bygones and two icons start to co-create again to lift the industry up rather than have bad blood and feud?
Well, you know, that's just it. There's no, you know, bygones are bygones. There's no issues between me and him. I don't have any issues. He's doing what he's doing. I'm doing what I'm doing, and it's love. It's fine. You understand? Will we create or do anything like that? I doubt it. We've never been friends. That's what people don't understand. So for us to become friends after all of this, that's probably slim chance. You understand of that happening, but. You know, I don't wish anybody any bad on anybody. You know, that's just not how I live my life no more. You know, I want everybody to do well. I want everybody to get along. I want everybody. You know, and that's just what it is. And I could be living in a fantasy or whatever, but that's just the way I wish things were. Not to say that, you know, I'm not the same person that I was when it comes to certain things. But yeah, you know, I just want to leave all the negativity in the past and move forward on a positive energy.
Ja Rule, thank you so much for being on the Millionaire Student Show today. I truly appreciate it, man.
Millionaire Student Show, man. Much love to y'all, man. Make sure y'all download that Icon live app. It'll be in the Apple Store real soon.
Great. I'll put the link below. Let me know. Send me a message on when you're launching it, and I'll definitely update the description.
Yeah, I put a little clip of us up on it right now on Icon. Just a little clip of me and you talking and shit. I taped a little bit of it. So they ain't get it all. They got a little bit. They can see, but nobody's on Icon yet, so you good, Seth.
Love it.